Is it okay if I steal this from the stand? Just to annoy the sound engineers? Okay, all right. So hello everyone. I'm Csaba Virag. Excuse my parents for my unpronounceable name. I'm Hungarian by origin, Estonian by choice. So I'm coming from Europe. And I have been in this industry for a bit of a time. Starting technical, interesting, yeah, why not? Fun. When you have the God mode, you know, your admin, cool. Then started advising policymakers on the EU level. Everybody looked at me like a weirdo. Why is this guy talking about hacking and why hacking is an issue on the EU member state level? It seemed like they started to listen. And I eventually ended up realizing that I like humans. Humans are interesting. And as the title says, I do have some questions, okay? Am I the last presenter or somebody is coming after me? Am I the last? Okay, I'm the last. So I'm the last one standing between you and leaving. So I will try to make this memorable for you. All right? So, how many of you here are on the hacking side? Considered to be hacker, red teamer, whatever. Raise your hands. Come on. That's like what? 10% undecided people. All right. Let's see, what about the rest? Who is on the blue team side? Okay, a bit more. Who is on the GRC? Governance, regulation, compliance. And the rest, what are you doing here? Free beer. I don't know where it is, but some are here for the drinks. And the rest? All right. I tell you a secret about cybersecurity, okay? How many of today's presentation has been about that the world is in a nice condition? Zero, right? Sorry, I'm not familiar if I'm showing something offensive. Don't take it. I try to be polite, so I don't know the hand sign culture here. So, how about having a little bit of positive message? Those who work in cybersecurity field already know. Those who think of working in cybersecurity should know that this is one of the most unappreciated job you can ever get. Okay? Nobody will tap your shoulder, thank you, we were not hacked today. I did not receive it today, I did not receive it yesterday, not last month, not last year. But guess who will call you if there is a breach? Guess what will happen to you? Okay? The bad things that is happening in our world. It seems like we are using technology in a dystopian way. We are being monitored, surveilled, or data is being used against us. You go on social media, it turns out that humans are fighting semi-automatic algorithms defining what you can read and what you can think. Why do you go on social media, by the way? So, let's talk about something a little bit more positive. Okay? If you really think about it, can you tell me what does the brake do in a car? What's the function of the brake in the car? Who knows the answer? Stop the car, okay. I cannot hear you, repeat. Too shy to repeat, okay. Come on, why do we have brakes in the car? To go fast. Without brakes, would you go fast? Did you ever have a bike that did not have the handbrake, but you need to pedal backwards to brake and the chain fall off? cool, isn't it, right? Until you have to stop, of course. That hurts. So I would like to look at cybersecurity as this is not a break. Many decision makers look at cybersecurity, yet another cost, yet another compliance, yet another device, and what's the benefit? I mean, we have not been hacked, so why do we need to spend more? I like to look at cybersecurity as a means of enabling. Our job is to enable the organization, or personal life, or family's life, the company we work for, the partners we service, enabling them to go faster. What does faster mean? They want to thrive in the golden age of digital transformation. It's a world. I was born before the internet was a human right. My kids are growing up with AI the way I grew up with the internet. I am the last generation, along with those who are around my age, who remember what it was like to be without internet. All those youngsters whom I envy, you don't know that. The issue with cybersecurity is that it's like a DJ sound deck. If you try to ever play music, if you adjust everything at the same moment, you will get noise. If you have a guitar and you hold all the strings and you just don't do anything with it, you will get noise. There is a genre called noise in metal. There are some who enjoy it. There are more who don't. But ideally, what we want to have is minor adjustments till it becomes a composed music. Hitting all the keys on a piano is not music. You have to know in what rhythm and when you hit the key. The same with cybersecurity. Who can tell me which pot meters we need to adjust at any given organization at any given time? Right, no one. Me neither. So, I don't know my own organization's pot meter settings at the moment. And then we have this threat landscape. I will not go into details. Whole day was about, we have many bad actors out there with different motivations. But the sheer number of more than 4,000 identified groups, who believes that it will be less next year? Who believes it will be more? Okay, all right. You get the free beer. Good. So the challenge, the threat landscape is growing. The organizational digital complexity is growing. We don't really have more cybersecurity professionals, no matter who tells you what. And we have a constantly growing landscape of different or a variety of threats, okay? And you can look at any of these individually, and any of these are complex on their own. Combined, it becomes so complex that people actually don't like to deal with it, because whenever they talk to a cybersecurity professional, I call this cyber fatigue. You can see it in their eyes. You open your mouth, you say, well, we have this new threat actor, and they fall asleep. They don't care. They just phase out. They look at you, nod, but you can see in their eyes. They are not there anymore with you. So let's look at an example. I will get back to our favorite APTs in a moment. Then we have the technological disruption landscape, okay? It's not even a threat. It's our utopia. Started with the internet, and I didn't even drink yet. So it started with the internet. Then it turned into, okay, internet became the new normal. Then we have all these cognitive systems, nanotechnology, blah, blah, blah. And we don't know which of these scenarios will become a reality. Maybe all of those, maybe some of those. I'm not saying none of those. What does it mean that we have a smart grid? Always on connectivity. 5G, who you're kidding? 6G. Always on connectivity with space assets. By the way, when was the last time you read about space cybersecurity? Okay, so I thought. So, just a reminder, there are more than 5,500 Starlink satellites up there. And such devices will be providing the always-on connectivity on Earth, in a smart grid, in a smart city, and all of those connected devices that are there. People who don't understand what you speak, you have an unappreciated that is changing cybersecurity posture. Are you sure you're still at the right place? I promised it will be a bit more positive, so let's do it a bit more positive. People, process, technology. You might have the smartest people in the world. If you don't equip them with the right technology and you don't have the right policies in place, they will fail. You can have the smartest regulations and policies in the world. If your people don't know about them and you don't have the technology to support them, again, you will fail. The best cognitive cybersecurity solution doing all the job instead of humans, but we don't know our processes, we don't know our people, the technology will fail. Think about the sound engineering bar. You have 3 moving, constantly morphing variables. The people, the processes, and the technology processes are inside your organization on the national level, on the international level, a constantly changing technological landscape inside your organization, even in your pocket. The telephone that you choose defines your security decisions that you need to make. What kind of antivirus solution you have will define what kind of steps you have. Devices, same. What kind of people you hire and what kind of training they undergo. How do you know your people? So what we do, oh yeah, I put this extra slide here because in the very first presentation there was a comment about the traditional warfighting domains. We have many military commands as our partners, so we are more or less familiar with their very special requirements. But no matter how you look at, and I can interpret this even in civilian domain. Raise your hands if you work in maritime cybersecurity. It's too bad that only the world GDP's 90% is depending on maritime logistics. I did not see a hand. Okay? How many of you work in air cybersecurity, aviation? One shy hand. Okay, already better. Space we discussed already, right? So, cyberspace is connecting everything. And so does the human. It is either us for technology or the technology for us. You decide. I choose the later. We are human first, and let's not become bots, okay? So, there is this concept about antifragility. We used to say in the golden age of info security and then IT security that we want to build a robust system that withstands anything. You can picture robustness as a wall. Many things will not go through this brick wall. But once this brick wall is down, then there is nothing that is stopping the perpetrator to do whatever they want. Plus, it takes time to rebuild the wall. So that's solid. We talk about cyber resilience. You have to become resilient. I agree. You have to be resilient. You have to be like a tree in the storm. You bend, but do not break. But what happens when the storm is over? You're the same tree, right? You're standing in the same position, waiting for the next storm. That's a hydra. You cut one head, it grows two. Attack me, and I will be stronger. This is the mentality that I believe is required in our profession. This is the state that I believe organizations, member states, even individuals should try to aim. I know it's hard, but it can be a vision. Cyber attacks will happen. End of story. You will be hacked. Full stop. The question is, will you stand up? Will you be able to stand up? Will you be in your initial status, or will you come up stronger? And I brought you a use case. I like to think of us as an enabler. As mentioned, we are in the synthetic environment domain. We like to think of it as the world's most advanced cyber range environment, which is a virtual environment that enables you to recreate anything in the real world, plus you can connect hardware elements. According to my watch, I'm working out, so you know, with all the walking. But I like to think of us that we are more, because what we do is we synthesize experience. We can synthesize the experience of an attack, and we can make it replayable. Is it an attack that happened to others? Can I read it in a CTI analysis? Can I reconstruct the event? Do I have my own CTI team or SOC team or CERT team creating that for me? Anything works. But once it helps us to design, we can build the simulation. If I really want to go precise, I will build an emulation. And then we can publish the scenario and practice, not just us, but any of you. So my experience can become your experience. You can know what I know. I cannot promise you to wake up on Monday like Neo from Matrix that I know Kung Fu. Maybe this is the future. You just plug it in and you know it. Till that time comes, the key difference between knowing and not knowing is the sets and reps you invest into yourself, or the organization invests into themselves to gain. We organized this event at the end of May this year. It's called Cyber Bridge. Yeah, it's written there. We are supporting Ukraine with a cyber range and additional knowledge and background information. As I mentioned, I live in Estonia. Those who don't know where Estonia is, it's right next to Russia. It's part of the European Union, and we are a proud nation of 1.3 million people, okay? I know it doesn't sound that much in Philippines, but we like our country the way it is. Russia is 110, 120 million, and the same way they occupied Ukraine, we don't have a doubt that they would like to occupy Estonia as well, as Estonia was occupied by Russians during the Soviet times. So, those who don't know what's going on in Ukraine, Ukraine is facing severe kinetic, physical, and cyber attacks by Russia. Russian APTs are well known for their cyber capabilities. Russian military is well known for their electronic warfare capabilities. Russian troll factories are well known for their disinformation and fake news campaigns, influencing governments, corporations all around the world, all around the clock. We have one of the most capable enemies being active in an active war zone area. We have Gamma Redon as one of the actors. They belong under Russia's Federal Security Service, which is basically an intelligence unit. Some attacks attributed to them, and their main activity is espionage and data theft. Their trademark is to sneak in, be there, steal, and stay undetected. Attacker number 1. Attacker number 2. Sandworm. How many of you know what NotPetya is? NotPetya, 2017. How many of you heard about Maersk, the shipping company not operating for several weeks? Okay, that was a spillover of NotPetya. They belong under GRU, which is the military branch of Russia, Russian army. They have one aim, and that's destruction. They get in, they destroy. Sometimes they do a cyber attack, and then there is a missile attack. Sometimes they hack into the phone to survey signal encrypted messages between group of people to figure out the location where to send the missile. Sometimes they destroy the Ukrainian electricity grid or interfere with elections in the US. So what we did is that Ukrainian CERT experienced several attacks, obviously. They have the live malwares, they have the real TTPs, they have the tool tactics procedures, they have the real networks, they know everything. They have all the knowledge that most probably many of you in the room don't have. And there are many use cases like this, not just in Ukraine, even in the Philippines, obviously, things that I am not aware of. So the team CERT, Ukrainian CERT, created 2 scenarios based on these experiences with the malware samples, with the tools tactics procedures, with the lateral movements, with the penetration, initial attack vectors, and everything, and synthesized it in the cyber range environment so that they can train the other critical infrastructure operators and the military units in Ukraine and with whoever else they want to share it with. In our case, this was certain US companies, agencies, and governments. So one of the ways to understand which pot meters to set is actually put ourselves into a situation as an organization. You go to CTF, cool. You go to training, cool. But does it mean that we as a group of people know how we would react under a real incident? Under pressure? Can we make timely decisions? Do we know our regulations? Do we know our compliance requirements? Do we even know the people we are supposed to talk with? This is what we do in a controlled environment when we create a synthetic experience. Share this knowledge, highlight the gaps, highlight the strengths, and point the rooms for improvement. And for me, this is what cybersecurity, enabling cybersecurity is about. This is what is moving from the cyber resilience state to the anti-fragile state, where even though there was an attack, we can come out stronger. We can learn from this experience. Thank you.